Welcome to the ManTFUp Podcast. I'm KimmyB.
And Lenny.
And we have a very special guest with us today, one half of the Pouncey Twins, Mr. Maurkice Pouncey. Welcome to the Man Cave.
Thank you guys for having me.
No, it's such a pleasure to have you. Actually, I'm just glad I don't have to be here with Lenny alone today. I've had enough of Len in 2022, so it's nice to have somebody else to join the conversation.
He got a lot of competition today.
She just likes the.
Why are you speechless right
Yeah.
now? Why are you speechless?
I
right
don't
now?
know, you know.
Listen, before we go any further, please remember to like, subscribe, follow, and share. We are absolutely everywhere. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. We're everywhere you can find podcasts at ManTFUp TV. Now, Len, we've had a lot of conversations over like the past, 10 episodes about a lot of different things, but it's great to have a guest as accomplished as Mike is with us today, whether it's on the football field, in the business world. I could not be more proud of all the things that you're doing. But I love your story, and I was actually looking at your retirement quote on Instagram before we kicked off today's podcast. And Len, I think that you would be not impressed, but like I think that, because I don't know that if you've seen it, but one of the things Mike talked about was just, where he comes from, which is Lakeland, right?
Yep.
And, the path that they took to get here. But he specifically mentions that it's hard work and it's not just going to fall in your lap. Like, you're going to have to go out and get it. It's not just going to happen. He's specifically said dream big, but know that it's not just about the dream. It's about the work and the hustle that you're willing to put in to go get that dream once you have it. So, Mike, I think that's a great place to start in today's episode, because that's really what, the ManTFUp podcast is all about. It's about sharing stories about how we got to where we're at and moments where you've had to man the fuck up, where you've had to just put on your 100%. Big boy pants and get it done. So if you can maybe walk the listeners and the viewers through your story coming from Lakeland and how you and your brother both made it to the most elite level of professional sport. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, so the journey was amazing. We started out, went to Lakeland High School, won 3 state championships there. We came down, beat up on St. Thomas all 3 times. Oh. You guys know that school.
Okay, Flexi.
Yeah, over there in Fort Lauderdale. But we had a really good football team. I just feel like it was so special for our football team because all of us grew up together. We grew up, it wasn't team like how it is now, where you can come from anywhere, play for any kind of high school, no matter where you live at, as long as you can get to school, you can play for that football team. For us, we're all homegrown, and it meant so much to us to go and play in Lakeland High School because we had, 4 high schools at the time inside of Polk County, or Lakeland at the time, that were like big mainstay schools that all the athletes went to. And so growing up as a kid was like, man, when we get high school, we're going to play for Lakeland High School, because it meant everything. Like, if you're from Lakeland, on Friday nights, the whole city shuts down at a certain time. Like, you see people closing their doors, locking stuff up to get to the football game.
Lakeland's a little different than Miami.
Yeah.
It's a little different vibe. We can't even get people to go see the Dolphins in Miami.
There's a lot of that. We went, when my son was playing, we went to South Carolina for a game.
Yeah.
To a small town in South Carolina, because they were playing for rankings or whatever. And literally, we beat them. And, like, the police had a whole thing to escort us off the field. Like, there was nothing going on in this town except this game. Yeah. And, the police are like, you guys need to leave because, we can't.
So that's kind of what Lakeland's like in a way, but we didn't need the police. It was more just.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because you were all local. It
was more a local thing, yeah. So we would all play each other around, the same neighborhoods. But anyway, we left there. It was 7 of us that left from our high school and went to the University of Florida at the same time. So we went up to
I won't hold that against you. Continue.
Yeah. We all went to high school together, to the University of Florida, and we had the most amazing time because not only sometimes when you go out to college, you need friends and family around you to succeed. Because you get homesick. You're so used to being in a routine where your parents are around taking care of you. And it just felt like it was home for us. We were an hour and a half away. We got to go up there and play with some of our best friends that we grew up lifelong with. And but to get to that process was amazing for us. Now, we did play on a really good football team in college, and so it gave us the exposure to be guys that were high draft round picks. And me and my brother both went in the first round, and the rest was history from there.
Me and my twin brother both went 3 picks apart. I got a question,
though. He was
a
better player, though, because everybody always asks, who's the better player? I say my brother.
So how'd you end up going first? I mean, both of your names start with the same letter, so it's not like alphabetical order.
He was,
it was just a year of the draft. It was a
point
year
one faster in the.
It was a year later, so he left as a junior, and I stayed off 4 years. And so, after he made the Pro Bowl his rookie year, they were like, man, they got to have the same pedigree. And so.
So he actually helped you.
Yeah, they went to the Super Bowl that year. They ended up losing to the Packers. He went to the Pro Bowl. I think he was maybe second team All Pro. And, you know.
But they were like, they literally share the same DNA.
Yeah.
Like, literally, they're identical.
But
like, let's go get him.
Go back to the work that you had to put in. Because I can only reference the Wilson brothers because I watched them grow up. These kids would finish school at 3:30 and be out on the track every day of the week. They'd be up in the morning working out before school. They'd be running, doing hurdles after school every day.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's just a part of just being an athlete. It's how bad do you really want it? You're going to put in the work. Whatever you put in, you're going to get out of it. And for me and my brother, that was our way of, helping our family get out of poverty.
Mm-hmm.
We grew up really, really poor, and we felt like, man, if we made it to the NFL, we'd be able to make enough money to help our family get out of where we was at. Mm-hmm. And it did. Actually, my brother, as soon as he got drafted, our family was in probably $80,000 worth of debt. He paid off all the debt, and the next year I felt like it was my obligation to come and do something for the family. So after a few years, we ended up starting a waste management company, and they do all the trash deliveries in Polk County. Well, most of them, not all, but they got a lot of contracts over there, and we've done what we can for our family. Our family's been good because when we got drafted, we made a lot of money, me and my brother, over the years. And they never asked us for anything. They didn't get their house until...
That's a blessing, though, Mike.
I was 9 years in. My brother was 10 years in the NFL before they even asked us to buy him a house. And so we ended up buying him a house in Polk County. My mom, she still works to this day. Mm-hmm. My dad can't because he's handicapped. He lost his leg. And but we just come from a good, homegrown family. Honestly.
I think we've talked about family and the importance of family on the show before. And
yes.
It's
Sorry,
that's all right.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. I think family gives you that stability to want to, gives you that guidance. I think it's very important.
So, Mike, when you talk about the fact that your family never asked you to do for them, like financially, even though both of you, like you and your twin brother, both first-round draft picks, making a lot of money, signing multiple-year deals, like that's a blessing. I mean, and I know that you know what I'm talking about because I'm sure there were some locker room conversations that you've heard or, even conversations with friends from college or back in the neighborhood where the minute those guys signed their deals, not just immediate family members, but friends of the family, friends of friends reaching out, hey, I got a business idea for you, or hey, remember when I did this? And, that's got to be a really lonely kind of place for a kid who's 21, 22, just signed a multi-million-dollar deal. I mean.
So for us, our family, they have always instilled in us that, we never had much, so we never needed much.
Mm-hmm.
And so whenever me and my brother, made money, no one ever expected anything because we never needed for it. You know what I'm saying? We were happy just being the family that we had, being the kids that we were. We never asked for anything, never need anything. Our biggest thing every year was just going to a family barbecue every Saturday. Like, we look forward to it.
Yeah.
Like, we go to our grandma's house inside the trailer park. We go over there. They'd be cooking, everyone. It was like, it's all we ever needed. And so when we ended up making a lot of money, our parents felt bad asking us for it because they just like, man, if we feel like if we ask, we're going to fall in that same stigma as the rest of the parents whose kids make it and make a lot of money. And so it took for us to finally ask them, like, you guys don't want to get a new house? It's like, we'll start looking. They found that house in a week. So they had been looking. They just didn't want to ask. But that's just our mom and dad are. They don't ask for anything. They don't need for anything. And they raised me and my brothers and our sisters the same way. So.
But that goes back to what you were talking about, though, Len. Like, that family dynamic really is so important, in kind of curating the trajectory of who you become as an adult, right? Like,
it builds that character. He had character instilled in him by his parents that, a modest life and happiness and, the bigger things, the more important things were going to grandma's house for that, traditional barbecue or, those things are the things that a lot of our youth today doesn't get.
Yeah.
It's those things that are really more important. Everybody's going to have their own different thoughts about money and that kind of thing, but it's those core values that you got from your parents, rich, poor, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your status in life. But when you're raising kids, they need to have that core value.
100%.
That's the thing that I think Mike and his brother got, and his sister from his parents, and that's why his parents didn't ask. They knew. They didn't have to ask. They didn't have to. They knew that they raised their kids to take care of their business and their family. So nobody had to ask.
Yeah.
So that's the difference, I think, between kids who get those values from their family and their parents.
I love your perspective on it, because it's true. Because our parents didn't have to ask for us to give them money every month. We just wanted to. It felt like it was an obligation ours, because that's how they took care of us, take care of them.
Yeah, I mean, my kids, I have 26-year-old boy, I have a 16-year-old girl, and a 15-year-old or a 14-year-old son. So those kids, the two youngest, are really social media generation. But we go to dinner, we go to a nice dinner. My youngest son will shake the maitre d's' hand and say, "Hey, thanks, it was great," and that's not normal for most kids these days. They're like, but those are the things that, those are the things.
Start walking to the wall.
Just basic manners and treating people with respect. The basics. Social media is just like, it's hard to keep. We had this whole conversation last week.
It's a gift and a curse.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm 55, so I got a few years on you. But if I had this when I was their age, I don't know where I'd be. I'd be on Mars already. I'm just saying.
For sure.
But again, it's a different perspective on what kind of tool it is.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. Like, the way that they view it as a tool is different than how people who didn't grow up with it as a built-in resource view it.
Yeah, because I feel like how we view it now as adults is more like, man, it gives us different avenues, different ways to,
it's business.
I mean, you didn't have it in high school or even college.
No, not any of that. So it was like more exposure. So like, even like, say for an athlete, a kid that's coming up, he can put it out there and grow up in Lakeland, Florida, and somebody in California can see it because he puts it on social media. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day. So if you look at it from that perspective, it's awesome. But then also, if you look at it from the perspective that, these kids spend a lot of time on here, and they base their lives off social media sometimes, like whether it's good or bad. They go through something, they put it on there. If they don't, it's, you know what I mean, how it goes.
Or, Mike, let's keep it 100. Okay.
Well,
no, you've had some moments. I mean, let's be clear. Like, you've had some moments on South Beach that have gone viral.
Oh, 1,000.
You know what I mean? And I'm sure if you've talked to the OGs, like the same, I mean, plenty of these dudes that lived their best years turning up in the clubs, but it was pre-social media.
Yes. 1,000%.
You kind of came out right at that time when the camera phones started to pop, and now paparazzi was everywhere. And I can remember a couple of instances when the Pouncey brothers made headlines being at different nightclubs. So with that being said, though, how do you've clearly been able to overcome any sort of negative press or stigma, because as good as that UF team was,
really good.
Really good, yes. Y'all won some natties. It's okay, I get it. But there was also a lot of controversy around those teams. You played with Aaron Hernandez. You had your own set of situations. You were very good friends with him. That's all. There's a lot of things there for you to end up where you're at now. Your career could have taken a very
1,000%
different
1,000%
path.
Even if social media was big when all of us were in college, we had a lot of stuff happen in college that was very sensitive to times now. And even not say so much now, but even say 5 years ago, like when like Lael Collins was coming out. Social media kind of destroyed him as being a first-round pick because it was an accusation right before the draft. That ended up not being true at all, but still, it was a way that social media spread like wildfire. Like, everyone was talking about it, and it really, really hurt his draft status. You know what I'm saying? So and I understand. That could have easily happened for me and my brother, and we couldn't be sitting here today. I wouldn't be sitting here today if it did,
And that I think is what's scary about it. It's like, is that the kid that the weed picture came out of?
No.
Because, there was the other one that literally, as he was walking up to get his jersey.
Yeah. So that was Tunsil. Tunsil got drafted down here. It was the the gas. What was it, gas mask or something like that?
It?
It was a video from him.
But it was like, and it wasn't. But it literally, and it went by like as soon as they announced his name, he's walking on the stage. Somebody hit send on Twitter, like post, and the next thing you know, his entire moment is overshadowed by this ridiculous video of him being a college kid. Yeah. Let's be clear, 90% of college students probably smoke weed.
Happy 420.
Yeah, I was saying it. I was saying it on the air today. Yeah, I mean.
No, it's true though, because that shouldn't have. Honestly, it didn't affect him that much
because he had already been. Yeah, something they could do about it.
But the Dolphins ended up getting a guy that they were never going to be able to draft because he did fall picks. Mm-hmm. Everyone thought he was going to go way before then. But he's still playing good. He's a great player, and I'm glad it didn't affect his career that much because it was something that was. We's looked at a lot different nowadays.
Yeah, like Ricky Williams.
Acceptable, you know what I mean?
How it turned. Ricky Williams out of the league,
Kicked him out of the league for it,
And imagine like where he'd be right now.
Oh,
he'd be so vocal about mental health. Yeah. He'd be so vocal about alternative medicine. He'd be taking up for everybody, fighting, CTE fights and things like that. So it really, it's a testament to the times. But not that I worry. And as you're talking about, we're talking about manning the fuck up and all of that. And I think about my experience with did you play youth football?
Yep.
Okay. So, Florida's.
I coach it now.
Yes, I know. I know. I would love to. I'm going to have to come out and see you in action because I don't think you're the typical Miami youth football coach.
Oh, yeah. No. See, I know a lot more of these guys. You know what I mean? I'm the Central Florida coach. I bring those.
But you know what I'm talking like. I mean,
because it's mostly it's not the guys that have a lot of experience in it, and it's guys you know how it is. But my son plays, and so for me, I'm very very much into it because I know how critical it is for kids to learn at this age how to play the game the right way. Like it ain't all about going out there and making the biggest hits, going out there and making the tackle the right way because you want to be able to play this sport a long time, and, make money from it. But the other day I was going out there and we do these drills right as offensive lineman because now I'm coaching O-line.
Okay.
And I brought these boards out. And so basically the concept of it is that you want to take a good step. So every time you have to step over the board. And so I was walking out and the parents were like, oh, Coach Mike, what are you doing with the boards today? And I was like, if your son doesn't make it in football, I'm going to teach him how to be a builder.
Listen,
it's funny because everyone's not going to make it. And they have to understand that because a lot of times when you get out those Little League games, they expect their kid to be Dan Marino at quarterback, the best, Jerry Rice a wide receiver, these different players, and it's like, man, it's a process. And at the end of the day, if your kid doesn't make it, it doesn't make him a failure. It doesn't. Man, because football and sports, it teaches you different stuff in life. Like it gives you those like what we're saying, morals or stuff that you can live the rest of your life off of, and it makes you
teamwork, respect,
makes
accountability,
you a better human being, and makes you everything. You just learn all these different traits that make you a better person in life and takes you a longer way. So I tell people all the time, like, what if your son doesn't make it? I was like, I don't care. If he learns the values of being an athlete, working with other people, learn how to work hard, and work for something, then I've done my job.
So I have a question since we're on this Little League training process. How do you feel about, you know where I'm going with this, everybody winning? Like that whole, I mean, I grew up.
Participation trophies.
Yeah, I grew up. Participation trophies. I get.
No, you do not. Don't try to play nice
now. Not
a
trophy. Let's just say not a trophy. Participation badge would be fine for that, or
like
a ribbon.
You showed up every day for practice.
Yeah,
whatever.
A merit badge for showing up and playing. But sorry, your team didn't win. I mean, I think the fact that kids nowadays don't lose at anything is very detrimental to our society.
How I feel about it is exactly how you feel about it. Like, we have to teach our kids what it's like to not always be given something. Because if you don't succeed in it, then you shouldn't be rewarded for something. Like, you have to learn what it's like to fail sometimes, and then understand what it's like to prove that you can succeed in that same thing. So, like, for me, just to give participation trophies, like, if you came to practice and all that stuff, awesome. That's what you're supposed to do when you signed up. When you signed up, it literally says, be to practice on time, be to games on times, don't forget your mouthpiece and your equipment.
So you did what you were expected to do.
Yeah. So now, you want to pat on the back for it too? Like, no, you got what you did for this whole season. You got better as a football player or at your sport.
Well, it's funny. As Lenny, you mentioned that, and you're talking about learning that life lesson. it goes back to when we talk about social media, because a lot of our content for the podcast might comes from, you know, crazy shit we see on Twitter, things that people post, and then the conversations that spin out of that. And the generations coming up, yo, you would be blown if you heard some of these conversations. Like, they talk about fair a lot. Like, what's fair? That's not fair. Oh, it's got to, and it's like, yo, I don't know who didn't tell you this, but life ain't fair, people. Like, but I think it really stems from that. If you don't learn that the nature of competition, the nature of life is that somebody wins and somebody loses. It doesn't mean you're a failure. You just got to get back up and you got to go again, right? Like, that's what life is all about. But if you never learn that, if you constantly get awarded and then all of a sudden you get into the real world and now you don't get the job that you put in the application. Well, I submitted an application. Well, bitch, you applied. That doesn't mean you're going to get the job.
So I, like I said before we started rolling the cameras, I've been reading this book. And I just feel like if we let kids read this book, it can really change the course of their life. And I'm not promoting the book. I don't know the guy.
What's the name of the book?
It's called The Magic of Thinking Big.
Okay.
So basically reading the book, like, we all know that one friend inside of our group that's like the successful guy that we look at in our eyes, or successful female that we look in our eyes that makes 6 figures or whatever. And it's not because that person went to college or is better than us or anything else. It's the traits that they have that make them, you know, successful. And so I was reading a book, and it was interesting because one part of it was like talking about like how real estate agents, and most of them will see like a piece of land or a piece of property and right away be like, oh, you know what? Nah, I'm not going to try. It's too much to try and sell because it isn't appealing to a person's eye.
They don't have the vision.
So you hit it right on the head. So that's the part. So you're probably, you know, one of the people that this book is advertising, because what they said is that the real estate agent that picks up the job and sells that property is more like the real estate agent that sells the vision too. Like, they do the research on the whole area. Like, this school's close to here, or these shopping centers are close to here. And then as they're walking through, they paint the picture for them. Oh, well, man, if you painted it, you know, they give them this vision in their head. So right away, when you give a person a vision, it's more than just them seeing the visual of it right in front of them. You know what I'm saying? And so the book is interesting because it gives you all the traits of being successful, not to become a millionaire, but to be successful in life. And you guys should read it. Check it out. And
but you know, the difference between, you know, success and failure is the person who succeeded tried one more time.
It's initiative.
Well, it's like you talk about the Bill Gates. He didn't create Microsoft. His roommate did, right? But he's the one that brought it to fruition. You know, when you think about Napster, the same thing. It was snatched from somebody else, but you didn't make it happen. I mean, I'm not going... Don't steal people's intellectual property rights. You will be sued. My point is, though, you know, you can have all the ideas in the world, but if you don't have,
you don't act on that,
the gusto to go out and get it, you know, or to do it. And then on the flip side, you can be super brilliant, but if you don't have vision, sometimes it's very difficult to sell other people on what it is that you want to do, which is why a lot of times you'll see the really smart guy with the very creative person walking into the business meeting together, because it takes both of them putting their brains together in order to create. I mean, and you've now grown into that space. Like, you went from football and now you're a business person. Do people bring you the ideas, or are these things that you wanted to do? Like, because you have your supplement company. You also have multiple alcohol brands.
So a lot of the stuff we wanted to do. Basically, the real estate part of it, we wanted to do because, man, was like, you know what? After football, we need something that's going to make us income, you know, keep us going, make money for, you know, what we need to do in life.
Beyond waste management.
Beyond.
Although, I mean, some pretty wealthy people have come out of it.
So we don't have any involvement. We get that. Our parents, they totally control that. We didn't ask them for any of it. We don't want any of it, because that's our way of just continuing to give them money. Because once we start playing, it's like, man, you ain't giving that money every month. Like, you're like, nah, we're not making that same kind of money.
Yeah.
You know, give them something to make them.
At 32, there's no more income coming in. Like,
no, there's a lot of income.
Oh, see, look. Okay.
Not 10 million a year. You know
building wealth, I think, is very. It's something that's lost on a lot of, you know, these younger players. They don't realize that it's going to be gone. And I think that goes back to values again, on, you know, on how you're raised. You know, if you're raised that easy come, easy go mentality.
But also, like, again, Mike, your situation is just different. Like, I think about the experience of youth football here in South Florida, of the guys that I know that have come out of this market, have gone on to have incredibly illustrious careers. I feel like there's a different grind maybe that you guys experienced in Lakeland that was not glitzy and was not the Ferraris and the Bentleys and the Rolls Royces. Like, it's very difficult to tell a young kid in South Florida that plays like Optimist or Pop Warner that they're not going to make it. Why? Because half of their coaches played, even if it was for a year, they definitely played at a D1 university, you know, or they got an uncle or a cousin or somebody from around the way that that has played, right? That's done it. So they're looking at you like, I had never seen anything like it until I came here, where when an 8-year-old looked at you and said, I'm going to the league, they said it with more conviction than an adult graduated. You know what I mean? They were like, oh no, I'm getting drafted. And with that being said, they then see the lifestyle that everybody aspires to here, right? Which is very east of 95. It's very Miami Beach. It's very, you know, we know what that is. And that's beyond football. That's almost anybody that grows up in South Florida. Yeah. That's what so when we talk about our monetary values and what we prioritize, I think it's different. Like, when those kids do make it to the league, their first thing that they do isn't necessarily to start a waste management company for their parents. It's to go out and buy a Rolls.
Yeah. Well, see, that, and they do see it now because social media, but down here it's in front of you.
That's what I'm saying.
So, like, in Lakeland, you're not going to see a Rolls Royce riding around. You're not going to see all that. You know what I'm saying? You're going to see normal stuff all the time. Like, down here, so I do get what you're saying, because I didn't see any of that till I came down here. Like, and honestly, when I first came down here, I was driving. I was scared to drive on the 95 because I'm like, why the hell does everyone drive so fast? In Lakeland, we have I-4, and if you ever driving on I-4, it's either completely empty or traffic. You ain't moving around, swerving in and out of traffic. It ain't like, I got on 95. I was like, man, I pulled over. I called my agent. I called Joe. I'm like, Joe, like, I can't drive down here. This is crazy. Like, man, there's cars flying around. He's like, you're gonna get used to it.
Man the fuck up.
Man the fuck up. You know what I mean? And I was still a kid at the time, so I'm like, man, it was crazy, man. Like, me thinking back on it, I was like, man, wow, like, now I drive like the rest of the people down here. I drive crazy as hell.
It's contagious.
Yeah.
I was born and raised here, so I'm very familiar.
Yeah, that's all you know. You go to a country town, riding the speed limit, you're like, hell no, I'm willing to get that ticket today.
It's kind of crazy. But, you know, the Wilson brothers, they grew up here, and they're not that. They're not that. I need a Ferrari. I need this. I need that.
But
they're very modest.
The Wilson's brothers, and they are modest, but you know their family grew up. They had money. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't grow up.
I wouldn't say they had money. They weren't poor.
Yeah,
but they weren't wealthy.
They weren't class.
They
again.
The parents were there.
Don't show
I think
your privilege.
That's
that is incredible. But I also think that the one thing the Pouncey brothers definitely do well, and I'm talking about you like you're not sitting right next to me.
Well, I love it.
Is
I ain't gonna lie.
She talks about you a lot.
Yeah,
is that they expand outside of their immediate circle, right? And that to me is having an awareness of opportunity.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if college taught you that. I don't know if your parents taught you that. But sometimes you have to be, not even sometimes, all the time, you have to be willing to step out of your comfort zone. And what I think happens to a lot of guys that are from down here is that there's so many of them in their social circle, right, that they don't have to step out and be uncomfortable, which means they're not networking.
So that's helped us out a lot, you know, after football, because you know we grew up on both sides of the fence for our whole life. Not in a way where we pick sides or this. Well, my mom is white and our dad's black, so we seen both cultures, and we were able to not like adapt to them because that's who we are.
Fit in.
Yeah, we just know how to be chameleons for everything because we've always been around it. You know what I'm saying? So, like how you said, it brings you different opportunities. Like, we ended up getting in the liqueur business with the JF Hayden's, and the guy is he's our business partner. He's a former Gator. Obviously, you know, that's why it's doing so well. We're all Gators, but it does because networking makes that kind of stuff. If you can talk to people, if you can get in front of a camera or get in front of a crowd of people and, you know, present yourself well, people just like you. It doesn't matter about if this guy was the first team All-Pro, if he was the second stringer for 3 years. It just, man, that guy was at the top of his profession. And he carries himself well. That's why, you know, like, most of the guys that are, like, first team All-Pro, all that stuff, we don't really see those guys on TV and stuff like that. We see the guy that was, like, the middle of the pack kind of guy, but he carried himself the right way, he networked the right way, and it's worked out for him after football. Now, the other guys, it worked out for them while they was playing, so they probably don't need to do this kind of stuff. But for me, I just feel like staying busy keeps you alive. It keeps you young. Like, it keeps you, not to say, like, I would get in trouble if I had a lot of time on my hands, because I don't live that kind of life anymore. But what I'm saying is that more
anymore.
Because I used to. When you're young and you go out, you hang out
Check
all the
that one
time.
off
Like
the interview.
I'm coaching Little League football at 8:30 at 9 o'clock at night most of the night. So like for me to want to go hang out anymore, it's just.
Now he's got his own liquor company, so the party comes to him.
So that's opening
up. I'm saying.
That's gonna be fun because that's opening up in Wynwood down in it's like 5 blocks from Wynwood, but it'll be opening up this month on the 15th.
A distillery, tropical distillery, right?
Tropical distillery, yep.
So are they making everything on site?
Yeah, so we were doing it in Coral Gables before. Well, not Coral Gables. I don't want to think about it. Cape Coral.
Okay.
So we had it over there. We was making it over there. We decided to put the distillery down here. Man,
Smart.
It's going to do really, really
Is it
well.
going? You still got it in Cape Coral also?
Yeah, so it's still in production there because we need to be able to make the stuff still. But now that our pumps are everything in, we'll be open on the 15th of next month.
And are people going to be able to go in and test and taste? So is it going to be like a restaurant too?
Date night there. We teach you how to make the cocktails. It's a whole tour. So. Man, we're in so many accounts. Like we're part of different cruise lines. I'm not gonna make all the crazy announcements, but we're on different cruise lines that we've already got approved for. We're in over like 2,000 accounts, and it does really well. Like we're in Publix, Total Wine.
Let me just tell you something. The liquor industry is probably one of the best industries on the planet to be in because much like death and taxes, people will always drink.
And on top of it, like we're like the liqueur. It's the first of its kind, like a mango liqueur.
I saw that.
Or a citrus liqueur. Now we have the espresso coming out.
And is there also tequila and whiskey?
So the tequila, yeah. So those aren't like big time. We
Done,
have to make them there because
he's done with his old life.
Yeah, I didn't say I was gonna stop drinking.
He's just gonna do it at home where he doesn't get in trouble.
I'm just not gonna go out as much.
Where he controls the cameras.
Yeah,
there you go. Leave your phones at the door, please.
Yeah.
But the Twin Peaks whiskey is stuff because we can't like bring in like Jack Daniels and sell it at our bar down there. So we have everything that we create, we can sell out of our bar, and we can't like import other stuff. And we have like deals signed with them and stuff. But it's just, if we can make it, why not make our profit?
Absolutely.
And it's better tasting anyway.
Oh, there you go.
Anything with the Pouncey name on it is gonna be good. I can promise.
And there's that Florida Gatorness coming out right there.
Well,
He said facts are facts. Yeah. No, I mean, I just think that it's incredible when you can take the opportunity that you have and roll it over. And I wish that more guys would be willing to. And I mean, this is for people in general. I think we've tried to talk about it on the podcast, just about shaking hands. But again, it goes back to this, and it's scary to think of the next generation because that's people skills.
Yeah,
you have to feel comfortable talking to strangers, and that's one of the things that I think has helped me be successful. Like, I'm not uncomfortable in any room. Like, it doesn't matter where I am. If I'm East of 95, West of 95, if it's a black tie gala and I'm hosting, if I'm at a barbecue, it doesn't, Little League football game, like I'm good anywhere. And that's just an immeasurable blessing. And you don't realize it. And I think sometimes reading books can help with that, when you feel comfortable.
What got you to that point, though? Because I know right away at first you weren't as comfortable doing it. I know for me I wasn't. It wasn't until I felt like I got more comfortable talking about stuff that I was comfortable talking about. Because I know a lot of us, when we talk about stuff we're not comfortable about, I don't care if you're the best talker in the world. Like, you just right away, it's just like, oh, man.
People read
like
right
you're
through
stumbling
that.
in your head. Like, you feel like even though you might not be stumbling in words, in your mind, you're stumbling over and over trying to think about what to say, if it's right or wrong. But
yeah, people pick up on that, too. I mean, I'm not a big sports guy. I'm not. Kimmy's the sports person in the room for me. And I follow it a little, and I watch it more because Quincy and Marco. But there was some rumors that you guys might have been a little bit arrogant when you were playing, and I'm only bringing this up because I think a lot of people mistake arrogance for confidence, and that's because I met you now, and. You
guys were laughing in the first 13 seconds. I could hear you.
What I can say for that is that if a person's arrogance in something that they're actually doing and not for their career, like I feel like that's more of a confidence thing. Like I feel like if I'm talking good about myself and something that I'm actually doing, like playing football, then I feel like
if you're the best center in the league, you're the best center in the league.
If I'm out in public and I'm out at a restaurant, I'm acting like that way, then I'd be like, all right, that dude is an asshole. So he shouldn't be like that. But if you don't have that arrogance about you and what you do,
that's part of competition.
Yeah, it's like, man, they smell it in that locker room. I can promise you. So like when most of my times when I was like that, I was doing interviews and I'm pissed off because I'm thinking about the guy we're playing. He might have talked shit the week before. And it just rolls over, you know what I'm saying? And then, we're alpha dogs.
Yeah, I think that's important. And it goes to the other point you were making about about being confident when you're speaking by knowing what you're speaking about. You know, I mean, it's funny because my friends call me know-it-all. And it's not because I'm a know-it-all type of person. It's because I don't ever open my mouth unless I have the answer.
Yes.
You know, that's just the way I am.
Should be.
And I happen to know a lot of bullshit about a lot of bullshit. You know?
I don't know. I think some of our podcasts might disagree.
Well, that's opinion. That's opinion, and that's a different story.
Okay.
That's a different story. But, you know, it's, you know, just from years of experience in business and stuff. I mean, you, I'm sure, have become an expert on reading contracts since you left college because you've opened a lot of businesses. You deal with that every day. It's something that you learn. So when you have somebody who's a little younger and you're speaking with them, you can speak clearly on, you know, hey, yeah, if you're going to buy a piece of real estate, you need to use the commercial contract instead of the residential contract. You know, it's those type of things that you become an expert on and you don't even realize it.
I also think sometimes, though, people overdo the confidence. Like, arrogance comes from insecurity, I think, in some situations. So I've noticed that when people feel like fish out of water, and I've been around, I will never forget my 21st birthday. I took some of my friends to the Capitol Grill. Like, my birthday was always like a big thing, and not the Capitol Grill is anything spectacular,
At
right?
21?
But when you're 21 and you've never eaten at a place like that, so we had a private room. There were like 10 of us in there. I'm not going to name drop, but like, it was just funny because when I think about where they are now in their lives, right? That was such the tip of the iceberg. But they were literally on their 2A. This is how old I am. They were on their 2A pages. And they were like, yo, why is there paper on my lemon? Like, because, you know, they had cheesecloth on the lemon to catch the lemon seeds, right? And they were like, I'm not wearing no suit coat. And, like, even my old roommate, I'll never forget it. He now is Clint Hurd. I don't know if you know him, but he's the defensive coordinator for the Seahawks. Yep. Well, no, him I'm going to drop. Him I'm going to drop because that's family.
Was he there?
Yes, of course he was. He's family. But we went for my 20th birthday, and at the time we were roommates, and he was not coming. And he was like, I'm not going to that shit. And my mother was like, if you don't put on a fucking shirt right now and get in this car and come to dinner, I will never speak to you again. And he, you know, that's like his mom.
Okay.
So he came. He ended up having an incredible time. But of course, he's in the bathroom. Some drunk-ass white dude thinks he plays for the Giants because he's, you know, he's a D lineman for the Canes. He's huge. Ends up sending over a bottle of champagne. But when he tells the story after the fact, he had never been to a restaurant like that, right? So he didn't want to go just off of straight intimidation. But on the outside of it, it was, I'm not going to that shit. I don't want to go to that. It was that kind, you know, but there's an insecurity there.
No, there is, 1,000%. And that is a mechanism whenever you're in an uncomfortable situation. You feel like you got to,
you puff up a little bit. Yeah.
Flex.
And I think that's what people see. You know what I mean? So if you're for a first time with doing, you know, a post game and there's a bunch of reporters coming at you and maybe you didn't have the best game. What do? You overcompensate, right? You got to flex a little bit. And so when that happens and that's the first taste people get of you, or we all know it. Well, yeah. Well, and Kellen Winslow is a terrible example to use, but the whole like, I'm a motherfucking, like I'm a soldier comment, right? Did not age well at all. But it was one of those moments where it was like, you're passionate, you're in the moment, and somebody asks you a stupid question, and that's the response you give them. But now you live on in infamy because of this one thing that you said, you know? And it's like when you get around Mike now, I don't know. But I don't get an ounce of arrogance from you.
Professional athletes to be confident and arrogant. Yeah. Because they've earned it.
There you go.
They've earned it. You know, you're what? You're 1% of 1% of 1%. You've earned it.
Yeah.
You know, flex all you want in that situation. Yeah. I think what you were talking about before is you see a lot of people that are very uncomfortable in situations, and they're the loud, obnoxious people in the room, which, you know, and they stick out. You know, I mean, if you're seasoned and you research what you do, those people come right to the top. And I'm sure people come and pitch you, oh, hey, you got this, da, 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 da. And you can tell they're just talking out their ass. It's like a salesperson in a car dealer. Yeah. You know, buy this, da, 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 da. Okay, tell me about this. They don't know. Well, I have to ask somebody else.
Hard for sales right now, selling cars. Jesus.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? They don't know. The good car salesman knows everything about that car.
Yeah. Facts.
That's if you want to do something, I don't care what it is, you have to research it. And I go over this with Nick a lot. My oldest, he's 26, and he's opened a couple businesses, and I'm like, yeah, I get it. It sounds like a great business. Do all the research first.
Yep.
You know, think about everything that's involved in doing that business. And he's starting to get it. He didn't with his first, you know, and he made a lot of mistakes, and you have to. You have to.
See, for us, I didn't have to go through that curve because we made a lot of money in chunks. And so we were able to invest with, you know, you have people that help you out and be able to. We had a really, really good, or still do have a really good financial advisor. And he put us on the right path to do a lot of different stuff, like even stuff that we didn't even think about at the age that we should have, like setting up our kids' college plans and stuff like that. Now when I see him, well, my daughter's 14. She's going to 9th grade. So my daughter will be in 9th grade this year, and she starts what college? What do you do, 3 years in high school? 4 years.
4 years.
But when I look at her college, I'm like, wow, like she's amassed so much money just for me putting in a little bit at the beginning. Was that 10 years ago? And it's like, wow, like I look at it and I'm like, it's crazy. Like,
and she's going to get a scholarship anyway, but whatever.
Yeah, you want to surround yourself around people that are going to make you successful. And it's easy to say that because everyone's had financial advisors that thought they were good people. And at the end of the day, probably got messed over, you know what I'm saying? But can we cuss on here?
Yes.
Okay, fucked over.
Get out. You can cuss all you want.
Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
It's generational. You guys are building generational wealth, which is very important.
Yes.
You're planting seeds that are going to grow into trees that your family's going to feed off of for the next 100 years.
But Len, do you know how many people have never heard the term generational wealth?
Yeah.
Like,
seriously.
So,
I didn't,
do you know what I'm saying?
I didn't know anything about it until I started making a lot of money. Honestly, I didn't hear about it in college. Did I hear you can go and make money and I can make a lot of money? Yeah, but generational wealth, I'm like, I ain't thinking about it. I wasn't thinking about it past my life before. Now you think different, you know, because you hear more.
But it's like from a mentorship perspective, right? Like, I only hope that you'll pay some of that forward. And I brought up the Capitol Grill and I brought up Mike being comfortable in different situations because when those opportunities present themselves, sometimes that insecurity will make you turn and run in the other direction. Oh, yeah. And we've discussed it. I went to a dinner one time. A friend of mine was throwing a black tie boxing event in New York. And he was like, invite anybody you want. So I reached out to a few of my homeboys, right, who were at the time playing in the league. And, I'm good, whatever. It was in New York at Cipriani's. I get there, and every conversation I had touched on business over a very expensive scotch, but it was like, what do you do? Come with me, let me introduce you to so-and-so. The Bidwells were there, that owned, the Boston Red Sox. I was there with people who literally own their contracts, right? My friends that I had invited, I was with the owner of your team. And football's a little different. You don't necessarily get the same FaceTime that you get in baseball or basketball with ownership. But the point was, this was a dinner that could have taken what they were making at the time and made it look like pennies with the relationships that they had the opportunity to make. And to your point before, they love being around these guys. Yeah. Oh my God.
It's crazy.
They'll just invite you to have you there to tell a war story about one of the national championship years in Florida, or what it was like to be on a team with so-and-so, or what it was like when you went to your first Pro Bowl. Like I say it all the time, there's no reason why, especially, and I hate to say this is not a knock on female athletes because you have opportunities too, but there's no reason why anybody that plays one of the major sports that goes to a D1 university should not graduate college not making six figures. Yeah. And that is based strictly off of the relationships you are exposed to. Yeah. These people will hire you and put you in positions of power just to tell stories.
See, I didn't believe that, though, until I actually got in that room. Because you have to see it sometimes to believe it. Because I can sit here and tell somebody all the time, hey, man, they're same nervous you are. They're actually more nervous than you are to speak to you.
Yes.
But until you actually see it, you're like, okay, now it makes me feel more comfortable actually going in this room and speaking to these people because they're just normal guys or normal women.
Everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time.
100%. So when I finally went in there and experienced, I'm just like, man, why am I overthinking this? Like, they're normal people. Yeah. Like, they're human beings too. Like, they just have a lot more than we have.
This goes back to that luck thing too. Everybody's like, oh, you're so lucky. No, I put myself in a place to get lucky. Yeah. If you want to run with the big dogs, you have to get in the big dog crowd. If you sit over here and go, oh, I wish I was there, you're never going to run with them. Yeah. You get in there, you get trampled a little, but those people will respect you for coming to those events and seeing your face, and they're going to recognize you.
Yeah.
Even if you don't talk to the person, they see you a couple different times at a couple different places, you're going to strike up that conversation, and that might be the guy that says, hey, you know, it's my turn to pay it forward. Let me give you a leg up here.
My
you know?
experience with it is that most guys think when they're going to these places, these high-profile people are there, that they think that the business deal is going to happen right then and there. It doesn't happen there. It's just a relationship starter. Like you meet this person, like, oh, that person's a good person. They leave that place there, and they're telling their friends about, oh, I ran into this person. Man, he's just a good dude. 3-4 years later, they might have something. You might run into this person again, and that's when the business deal might happen. You know, and that's how it works.
But it's also follow through. It's like when you
it's-
sign
yeah,
that
it is.
contract. When you sign that contract to play Pop Warner football, and it's show up to practice, do what you're supposed to do. When you make relationships, you have to learn that sometimes you've got to reach out. Right? It's just, hey, it was great to meet you. Hope to see you again in the future.
Listen, I've always done small business stuff. Okay, small business. You know, small business. I had the body shop, had the pharmacy, all the small businesses that you know, I've dabbled in real estate, contracting, whatever. But they've all been like this. They're very small. They have a cap that, you know, could give someone a nice middle class living, but they're capped. And the reason ManTFUp got started completely is because I met this guy who had this huge supplement company. And we did some stuff with him at the pharmacy, and I kind of asked him, hey, can you give me some pointers? So we sat down, we had lunch. He invited me to lunch again. We're sitting at lunch, and he's like, where do you see yourself in 10 years? I'm like, Ken, I want to be in your seat. He said, that's easy. All you got to do is sell to the masses. And it was till that point that I realized, damn, I made so much effort on all these little companies that I built over the years to make this amount of money. And that same amount of effort puts you in this amount of money.
Think big.
Think big. Exactly. This was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
5 years ago, maybe. And I immediately opened the company, and you know, I've been grinding at it. We're a growing company. Yeah. You know, and you know what it takes to, you know, like
we have the supplement company, and it's
people think you flip a switch and the shit's rolling in. Yeah. It's not like that.
That
but
only happens for guys like LeBron James. Tom
yeah, well,
that happen if I own a business, do I want LeBron James? 1,000%. Or Tom Brady, 1,000%. So they get it confused sometimes when they're like, oh, the professional athletes have the biggest advantage. Like, no, they don't. No, they don't. They have more money to invest in stuff, for sure. But like to sit there and be like the face of some company or to think it's going to take you further.
When it comes to business, I think I've always looked at the money as the easy part.
Yeah.
It's always
raising
been
capital.
Yeah. The money's always been the easy part, and people really get hung up on that. And I've told Kimmy this, that you know, I look for people that are more willing than able. You know, you got somebody who comes out of college and they got this degree and they're like, I can do this.
I'm glad you brought that up.
But they're lazy.
That made me think about when we were talking about like the stuff that we have at the football and why we invest in a lot of stuff. It was because when we got into the liqueur business, now the guy Buzzy do a great job, but he showed us by himself he had over 500 accounts just by himself. And it was like during the pandemic, I was like, wow, does the product taste good? Yes. But we invested more in the person. Because when we met him, he lit up the room. And he wasn't Mike Pouncey or Maurkice Pouncey, he was Buzzy. And the way he carried himself and the way he went, I was like, wow, like, this dude's a grinder. And he proved it to us right then and there. And we didn't sign the deal that day. We just went about it. Me and my brother left, talked about it. You know, we sent it to our people to look over it, obviously, because what you do, you don't want to just sit there and make a decision like that on your own. You know, you want a bunch of people to look at it. But what I'm saying that is because a lot of times when you're investing, it's not the investment that you're investing in. It's more the people. And that's what makes the business run good. And that's what makes stuff go the way it's supposed to go, because a lot of shit. I told this guy straight up, bro, as good as this mango liqueur tasted, if you didn't walk in this room the way you walked in here and we had lunch, we would never invested with you, because we had enough money in our lives where we didn't need to take a chance to do something like this. It was like, man, we're good. We just sat here, the rest of our lives will be okay. Yep. But when he walked in that room, he sold us on him more than he sold us on the liqueur, and it just made us want to be a part of it. And now, luckily that we did, because obviously it's blown up. It's got really big. So
yeah, that's.
But beyond that, it's you can't be at everything all the time. Like you can't be at tropical distilleries every single day and every single night. So the people that are there representing your brand need to have that energy, right? They need to buy into it. They need to see the vision. They need to be on board, and that's a conversation that we've had.
Buzzy, they're gonna be trusted. I'm telling you right now, he will not have nobody around him that's not like him. 1,000%. He even he wears the orange hat, the orange shoes. I'm like, Buzzy, you're the mascot.
Just don't put him on the bottle.
Yeah,
just don't put Buzzy on the bottle, okay?
He ain't that good looking.
I know that we have a limited amount of time with you because you do have to go coach your son's football team. Because
you got to get in the school line. You know, at American Heritage, if you don't get in the school line an hour before, good luck.
They go to Heritage?
Because those parents there, they don't work. No, they already made it in life. Those parents hanging out there just sitting there like.
Yes, they want to be. No, that's like a battle. That's an ego thing. Like I was the first parent in line today. Like
it's not. My kids go to youth school.
They go there and park across the street just to walk
just so they can be the first parent.
Grab their kid and walk over and walk. I'm like, why not just sit in the car? Like you got.
It's nuts. The soccer moms at those schools. Because my kids go to youth school.
It's big time.
Which is our direct competition with Heritage. But yeah, it's nuts. They get there an hour early. It's like my kids. I'm like. Yeah, I'll pick you up after carpool. Just sit out front until I get there.
I used to buy movies on my iPad to travel. Now I buy them just sitting at school. I might want to knock out a good 45 minutes. Like, why not? You know what I mean?
That's funny.
But does your kid ever get in the car and be like, Dad, why can't you be here like a few minutes earlier?
Oh, no. My kid, he's like the kid after school that I'll sit there in the line, and sometimes, like, if he doesn't get in right away, you got to keep going. Like, they don't let you stop.
Oh, yeah, can't.
So now I got to get out the car and go back. Because he wants to stay there and talk to all his buddies. Like,
he gets it from his dad. Gets it from his dad. Don't blame him for being like you.
He shook me off one day, so I see him coming. I'm like, and he's like, I'm like, you serious right now? You know I ain't gonna make a scene in front of his buddies. So I'm like, get in the car. Like I'm telling, like, tell the teacher, and he won't tell the teacher. She won't look at me either, because you know right away I wrote, hey, Miss Phyllis, and like get him. Man, he let me get past him. When I had to walk back to get him, he couldn't. He was like, man, let me just meet him halfway. He gets down here by my friends. I already know that he's gonna hear this shit. But it's crazy, man. I love having kids, man, but I don't think I can start over.
Yeah. You're good.
I mean, why? Why would I?
Well, you have a 14. You said you have a 14-year-old who's going to high school.
14.
Right. And then you have little man who's what, 8?
8, yeah.
But you're 32.
So what?
Why would I start over?
I'm just saying.
He's got 2 great kids.
He does have 2. You don't have to, but if you meet somebody, they may want kids.
If I meet somebody, she better not want to have kids. She gonna be meeting somebody else. Yeah,
You can check that one off the list.
Well, there you go.
Take that one off the interview.
Hand the fuck up. It ain't happening, honey.
You want kids, Kimmy?
What? Do I want kids?
Yeah.
That's a different
She wants
podcast.
someone else's for an hour.
I'm a really good aunt. You know, I'm fantastic.
Yeah, so I said,
Pick
check
'em
that
up,
one.
drop
Check that
'em
one.
off.
Check
I'll
that
take
one
'em
off
for
the
a
interview.
weekend. I'll take them for. They might not come back the same. You know what I mean? They
like
may
big
have.
boats.
Do I like big boats?
Yeah.
She won't like your boat.
That's a
She will not like your boat. Why will she not like your boat?
Gator colors, gator colors.
gator colors, and there's a flag. And there's a flag he likes to fly on top of that bad boy too.
Everybody loves that flag.
No, not me, buddy.
Hey,
Not
I might
me.
not like the person, but I love the way the country is ran. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
I didn't like a lot of stuff he said.
You might have to get a different boat, Mike.
No,
Jader.
No, he's like,
I will.
Just the boat itself
Well,
is
there
is a flag.
no, I
You're
mean,
gonna have to pay for dinner because gas is more expensive. You know? Boat takes a lot of gas.
listen,
You know what I mean?
listen. When you date women who make their own money, they have no problem paying for dinner
Okay, so how
if
do you
you're
feel-
taking care of the gas on the boat. You know what I'm saying?
How do you feel about paying on the first date?
How do I feel about paying on the first date? I will tell you this: if I pay on the first date, we're probably not going on a second date.
For real?
Well, wait a minute. Who initiates the date?
No. This
That's
is why.
it too,
No,
now.
Yeah.
This is why. In my experience, when I'm not vibing the person, I will pick up the check like on the low, so that there's no expectation.
Yeah. Oh.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, well,
zero expectation.
You know right away.
No,
Yeah.
and you're not gonna go around and talk about that girl on the radio. Use me for dinner because I like nice things. So if I go out, I'm gonna drink 1942. Like I'm not gonna be a cheap date, and I feel bad. Like if it's a first date, you shouldn't have to foot the bill for my taste, but I'm also not going to lower my standards to not impact your wallet. So I'll definitely go 50-50 with you. But if I pick up the whole check,
impact at all on the person's wallet.
what if it has? I mean, I would
That
still.
date.
I mean,
And
If I asked you out on a date, then I would go to it.
Because I get it I get it, but if a guy, if it has no impact on his wallet, if it does,
that's a great question.
Money
I would
issue doesn't even matter. It's more just you ask me on a date.
You know what? I picked up the tab plenty of times. I have. I would offer. I think though. If you were really interested, though, I think that you would flex. I think that you would not let me. Like, even if I offered, I think you'd be like, nice try, but I got it.
Oh, the first day, I'm black card going to table. 100%. It's going down. 1,000%, that's how it's happening.
But I'm just saying, like, I think that in that moment, if it was a situation and I offered and I was vibing the person and you didn't and you let me pay, I might be like, ooh.
See, that's where it hits me at the hardest. It's like, we're going to have this conversation before the chat, before even going on a date. Because I don't want it to get to that point where, man, it's just like, if you're going to like, well, I'll pay for it, but I'm going to feel bad if you don't do it, if we don't talk about it before. You know what I'm saying? Like, at that moment, you're like, you going to take out the tab? I'm like, yeah, it doesn't matter. But if we talk about it beforehand.
But ew. Talking about money is so uncomfortable.
It's not even
For
money.
you?
Yeah.
Really?
It's not
Yes.
even
I hadn't noticed.
He's being funny.
Yeah, you got money.
I still haven't told him what I want to get paid in life. Like, I mean, that's a conversation that Lenny and I have all the time.
What's a lot of money for a guy, for a profession, for a guy to make?
What do you mean?
In your mind.
I think it's that's a very you can't ask me that.
She doesn't. I don't think she cares about that.
I don't know. No. I say it, but Mike, I mean, most of my friends are in your sphere, so it's like I'm not a fair person to gauge because I have a lot of friends that made a shit ton of money, and I'll tell them you ain't shit. Like I don't really care about your money. Now I don't want to date somebody that makes less than me though. For multiple reasons.
That's why I was.
We've had this conversation though, because
Okay,
it impacts the character of a man that I date would make it difficult. I don't think a man that I would be attracted to, energy wise, like how they would carry themselves. An artist? I mean, who is he?
Like a starving artist.
Liechtenstein? No, because I don't think I'm not dating a starving artist.
See, I understand that point of it because I'm you got to have some kind of standards, and obviously. The money part of it shouldn't really matter because a lot of times men, the world expects men to, take a woman with less. You know what I'm saying? They'll be like, you know what? This guy has a lot of money. He should be with the person that doesn't have a lot of money and take care of this woman because, she was with him before he had anything. That, they get stuck in that kind of stigma. But why is it not okay for a woman in that man's position that's making millions of dollars
and
take care of a man that's make less?
I think that there are women though that make a lot of money that will date somebody that doesn't make what they make. But I think the power dynamic is off in a relationship.
No, I think it is too. They do, but I'm saying the world feels more like the man should take care of a woman that has less.
1,000%.
This is why the divorce rate is so high because
it's social media.
Relationships are getting valued on dollars, not on how you get along with the person.
Support, what you
what that a person's character.
Yeah, but Lenny, part of that is because money can impact the emotional part of a relationship. If you're struggling with money, that can negatively
impact. Been an issue with that. There's different angles from that, from what you were saying, because money's always been an issue. You could think back to whenever we seen. What I think is that if you think about everybody in your family that's in a relationship and the person that they're with, they either knew that person growing up, they met through a friend, or it's always somebody that's close. It's never somebody that's reached out. Or I'm from Florida. I married somebody from California. You know what I'm saying? It's always, or if that person was from California, it's because their family moved here and that you met.
Do you like dating completely random people? Like people that you've never met, that you know nothing about?
Yes.
That scares me.
Why?
Because first of all.
Well, that's good. So check that one off the interview,
I couldn't look this person up and find anything out?
Well, no, yeah. Like for me, I think it's
up.
No, but
that seems like stalking.
First of all.
I can't type your name in and be like, all right, where you're from, and it don't pop up. It just throws me off right away. It's like, hold on.
Well, yeah, why do you not exist? Is this a real name?
Like,
well, no, like, I mean, we've talked about it. Like, I'm on a dating app for content for the show or whatever, and just some of the shit people say is just so random. It's wild. Like, it's funny.
You're on a dating app?
Which dating
I am. Hinge.
Which dating app? Really?
Hinge,
What is that one?
It's Hinge. I don't know. But it's odd. It's the oddest shit ever. I had
not on Tinder?
No. The swipe. No.
Yeah, you're not on Instagram? Do you need Hinge?
I know. I am on Instagram, but like I'm not like don't slide in the DMs. But like you know what I mean? Like
but I can swipe you on Hinge.
No, it's not swiping. You have to I don't know. I don't want to have this conversation.
I've never even had it. I've never honestly
never. Literally when I got my previous morning show, I literally signed up just because so many people are in this space for the content. And let me tell you something. Some of the ways people holler are worthy of being talked about on the radio.
Give us an example.
If they're
Log into your Hinge.
If they're on that app, I don't really think. I think it's really easy.
Somebody left me a message and was like, "We need to connect before it's too late." And I was like, "Before it's too late for what? You creep? Like, you're frightening."
See, I think it's harder to meet somebody on Instagram than it is a dating app, because if I signed up for that dating app, I'm there for one reason. It's the date. Like to find something.
Yeah.
For Instagram, you might not know because a person don't post they might not post stuff that attracts your eye. Post maybe their business stuff, or you know what I'm saying. They might, like you said, don't slide in the DMs, but on the Hinge, you have the right people.
Yeah. And then you go back and forth or whatever. Like you can have conversations, but you have you have prompts.
I'm saying whatever in Hinge. This person's
You're here today.
Keyboard
Yes,
warrior.
in here
Keyboard
for this
warrior.
reason,
You
like-
can do whatever you want.
But the thing is, to me,
Instagram might send an emoji. You know what I'm saying? That ain't working on Hinge, is it?
no, I don't know.
I don't know. I find it hard to believe in any of that stuff because the people are fucking lying.
Well, that's what I'm. No, but
They're
that's
all lying.
But that is my point. Is that I've dated.
Dating app.
Well, no, and I've
Tell you
Yeah,
what I
fucking-
want to hear. What I want to hear, and
Yeah.
I might take you on a date.
I'm gonna take you to dinner.
I've dated people that I knew that had double lives. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah,
So
oh, yeah.
being on a dating app, it's like the risk of that is 10 times. So it's like, nah, I feel better. Like if I can come to Mike and be like, yo, so I think I met somebody that knows you, like wife, kids, what's the deal there? Like, can you please, like, what am I walking into, right? And not that I'm asking people to rat on other people, but when you're 6 degrees of separation away, you can usually get to the nitty gritty, like the important shit. Like, are they married? like, are they lying about being single? Like, you know what I mean? And I've been in those situations. I have literally been dating somebody that had a whole separate life, and you're just like, what the fuck?
Did you know?
No.
You found out
No.
though.
I 1,000. Yeah, by a person that was very close to that and who was just over him lying to me.
Oh, you mean a hater?
Wow.
No, it was like
it a
his.
guy?
It was his surrogate mother. It was like his, and she fell in love. Like he never should have introduced me to this woman, because she ended up loving me and was like, he's an ass. She's pregnant. They're together. Like, and he doesn't know what the fuck to do. And then it was a lot. So like when you've been in that situation, I'm like, it's strictly for content, because I don't trust none of you crazy bastards. None of y'all.
So it sounds like you only got a couple options. Then you got to. How many
Yes.
friends you got, Kimmy?
How many friends do
people
I
you know?
have?
Yeah.
Well, according to Instagram,
I gotta go. Let me go down the list. Start checking people
joking.
off. I'm going down them followers list.
No, but dating in this, like we were talking about the Cam Newton situation, and it's just, I think that, you're a high value man, Len. I think if you own your own business, you're considered a high value person, right? That's the new word, the new buzzword. And then you have women coming into the situation, and it's not about flexing. I don't want to wear the pants. I don't want to be the man in the relationship. But at the same token, I don't have to settle for what I may have had to settle for 10, 15, 20 years ago if you were the person providing the lifestyle that I'm accustomed to for me. Like, and I don't ever want to be in that situation as a woman, just because I don't know what's going to happen. Not necessarily with our relationship, but what happens if tomorrow all of your investments, if we were dating, go belly up, right? The market crashes, you're broke. Shit, radio's still here. I got a job, right?
A couple more years of Joe.
What?
In a couple more years of Joe Biden. Yeah. It sounds like it's coming, for real. I ain't gonna lie to you. But if a woman brings value,
Did he really just go there? Really?
He's right.
That's what you
you
just
said
did?
the market crashing.
Okay. Okay, you know what? What were you going to say about a woman what?
Yeah, because we're gonna get back to that too, though.
Mm-hmm.
But if a woman brings her value to a relationship, then all that other stuff's out the window. If you bring value, like have something of your own. Like you don't have to make millions of dollars. You don't even have to make more money than me. Just have.
But I love that you said that
like,
because
value to some women is cooking, cleaning. Like
yes,
for somebody that, how you said it, with high value is that.
Yeah.
So somebody with high value, cooking, cleaning. I can hire a chef. I can hire a cleaning lady. I can do all that stuff. So it might save me money to do that, to pay a cleaning lady once a week, to hire a chef to cook me dinner because I can get lunch and breakfast. I'm out the house. Hire a chef to cook me dinner. It's going to be less expensive for me to pay for that stuff than have a female in the house not bringing any value to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just being honest. Like, if you really add up what it is a month to get a cleaning lady, what it is a month to get somebody to cook one meal a day for you, or somebody to entertain you for a couple nights. Like, if you add all that up, it's less than having a woman in your life. So I'm saying, if you're gonna be in a man's life, bring value, because it's cheaper to shit. They always say it's cheaper to keep her. Yeah, you sign half your money over to her. But it's honestly, it's cheaper not to be with you if you don't bring any value, because I'm spending way more money and way more thought on you than I should be, and when I could be using my mind on other shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because when you put your mind on stuff and it's locked in on stuff, it's gonna bother you more and more over time. So say, for instance, like a girl that stays home all the time, doesn't have a job. It might not bother you the first 4 years. But over time, it's going to get to a point where you're like, damn, I'm consuming so much time, so much energy trying to get this person to get out the house, work. I'm missing out on stuff I should really be doing. So in that sense, it is way more expensive to get rid of them.
I get that point a lot. But I think, kind of where you just went there was like, that person is like getting lethargic. It's like, you mentioned the honeymoon period before. If you found a woman or a man that keeps you stimulated mentally, physically, truthfully, they might not have to work or do this or do that. But, if you found, I would bet if you found the woman that was interested in the things you were, she's going to be overlooking the bar and overlooking the brewery and, kind of working with you to make a better whole, I mean, when I think of a woman, I think of a woman that's going to support whatever you have going on, not just I'm going to stay home and take care of the kids, but support you.
I think of that too. When I think of women, I want, in my life, I want her to make my life easy. But when I'm sitting here talking about
But what does easy
finding
look like
a woman
for you?
and valuing a woman and finding one, I think the starting point is finding somebody that has something going for themselves.
Oh, of course.
But that's clearly what's attractive to you right now.
Well, that's be attracted to anybody, because sometimes, a lot of times where we can sit here and we want to stay at home wife is because, man, this person we done had kids with, like there's other stuff that keeps them at the house for themselves. But I'm saying, if I'm sitting here starting from scratch and I'm looking for somebody that's more like me, it ain't gonna be a stay-at-home wife, because I'm not a stay-at-home dad. I'm out all the time. Like, I want to be out. I feel like
you want someone who's going to be a companion to you, whatever you do.
Does that same kind of stuff, that has the same mindset, that want to go out and do better for themselves instead of just staying stagnant at the house. Like, yeah, do I want a woman that's going to come home every 2 that I want to be with and do stuff with? 1,000%. That's a starting point. If I'm not attracted to you, we're not even going to get there. So I'm going to pick somebody that I'm attracted to and that's busy like I am. That's that simple.
Well, no, I was so excited that Mike was coming in, because Mike and I have had this conversation at different points.
Which conversation?
Well, the conversation just about what he values in a woman or in a relationship.
All I want to know is who's paying at the first date.
No. Shut up. We had that conversation in person. Don't say that. Knock it off. Although, I mean, our conversations today were all in the DMs, because Mike changes his phone number 77 times a year. But whatever. No, because the conversation we were having recently about the Cam Newton, remarks regarding bad bitches and what is a good woman, and we posted one of the clips, and I was talking about the fact that there's somebody out there for everybody. If you're the guy that's what you aspire to, is that traditional family dynamic. You want a woman who's gonna wait in the carpool line and be the first one there every single day and come home and she's gonna cook and she's gonna clean, and that is what her life's ambition is. Then that's for you. Find yourself that woman. And guess what? As a feminist, right? I'm not turning my nose up at her. That's what she chooses. There are women who still value traditional roles, right? And that's fantastic, because there's a man out there that wants that. On the flip side of that, you have career-oriented women, right, who, as much as that, I love a guy that likes that. Like, I'm probably not the person for you, right? If you want me to be the one on my hands and knees scrubbing the fucking bathroom, it ain't gonna happen ever in life, homie. I'll get the maid. Like, it's not gonna happen, though. I can cook, and I will do that, but I also like a man that can cook, too, because cooking together in the kitchen is fun, right? Like, hey, it's sexy. So with that being said, you just have to find the person that, to your point, Mike and Lenny, shares those same ideals with you. But we've gotten so caught up in this social media messaging that one is better than the other, or one makes you more of a woman than the other, and it's not true. And
both are acceptable. I'm not saying that one is better than the other, or we should hold one more value.
Yeah.
But in my eyes, I'm telling you what I would look for. Like,
you gotta find what makes you happy.
Somebody does want that. Maybe they like a wife to sit home 24 hours out of the day and think about ways to spend their money online.
Or think about what you're doing while you are not home and they are. But no, this guy on Instagram, on the ManTFUp Now page, commented in his, anyway, his handle is absolute jackass.
The guy you've been going back and forth
Trust
with?
me, he lived up to it. He said, women have become the men they want to marry when they should be working on becoming the woman they know the man would want. Since when do men care about a woman having a career? These hoes are riding the cock carousel until they hit the wall and then wondering why no one wants to pay full price for something everyone else got for free. Dudes are just like, yeah, no. They call themselves bad bitches like it's going to be a turn on. Bad bitches, sign me up. Pfft, not. And I was like, okay, well, your handle said it all. Absolute jackass. But I immediately thought of you because when not because he's an absolute jackass. Because he said, since when do men care about a woman having a career? And we had this conversation a few years ago. And it's not necessarily about being a Fortune 500 CEO, but just having something that you're passionate about. Because I don't know how you can understand your partner's hustle if you don't have anything that you feel that way about, right?
So he had me on the first two lines because I do understand a woman is gonna date somebody that she wants or is attracted to because say like a guy that makes a lot of money. She's gonna date him because why? She wants to make a lot of money. She's not gonna date a guy or go after a guy that doesn't because that's what.
But does that make her a gold digger?
No, it doesn't make her a gold digger, but that's what attracts her because it ain't about the money it's the qualities. You know what I'm saying? Like what makes that guy make a lot of money? Because.
But that's what I'm saying. So when you ask me why I wouldn't date somebody necessarily that made less than me, first of all, there's a lifestyle, but secondly, there's a hustle that comes with that. And I need you. I'm competitive. And it's not that you have to make more than me, but like we need to be in the situation where we're pushing each other. Like, let's go out and get this. And we have a lifestyle. And also, if I know what it takes to live the life that I live, and I know the things I like to do, I'm not footing the bill for both of us to go on vacation. No. Like I'm not doing it. I'll pay for myself. I'll pay for myself.
I promise you're gonna pay for this first date.
With who? With you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where you guys going?
We getting to, what, 1942? You said?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Where are you going?
I thought you had a tequila. Why can't we drink your tequila?
It is.
Oh, okay. I was about to say now you want.
I brought all this. We're gonna
get but that's my logic behind it. But some people would say that I'm a gold digger because I don't want to date a broke person.
Turn your hand over. No.
Can you read it on the palm for real?
No, they're not tan. You know. That's old school. That's an old dad joke.
That. I'm gonna use that's free, right? Can I use that?
It's all yours. Just grab her hand and roll it over and go, nah, sorry.
There's a bromance.
No, but I understand
I can feel it.
I understand it because I'm not gonna go after no broke girl. Like, I'm just not. I don't care how pretty she is. Like, would I go after her for the one night or whatever? Yeah, 1,000%. But like to be my girl and to grow with, nah. You gotta have something.
Well, that's the thing. It's about growth.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
What's your ideal first date?
What's my ideal first date?
Yeah. What would forget about the guy. You're already going out with the guy, so you have some attraction to him. What would be your ideal first date? Just out of curiosity.
I don't know. Something that they planned.
You don't have something?
No, something that they
so you want the man to take charge and just pick you up and drag you
where
wherever.
Where are we going? What are we doing? Let's go.
I got you.
Thank you. I know. Somebody send me the address.
Everybody's gonna want to come on the ManTFUp podcast now. They out here getting dates. Like, what is that?
Here with a whole date.
Is like, what? Okay. Who knew we were a dating service too? Like, and I'm deleting Hinge right now.
You're gonna have to delete it. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Delete that first.
All right, listen. We've had enough of the dating conversation. We're letting you go, but we have to ask, what does ManTFUp mean to you? Like, when you see that sign up there, what immediately comes to mind? What is manning the fuck up?
It's putting those words to action. That's the first thing that came to my mind. It's like, man, we hear it all the time. Like, man the fuck up. But what does that mean? It means take action. Actually do it. Go out there, and it ain't about being the fucking toughest guy in the world or being a pussy or whatever you want to call it. It's about going and actually taking the action and doing it. And that's what that phrase means. I've used it my whole life. I tell my 8-year-old son, man up. Like, man up, bro. Like, it ain't that he's gonna grow and be 6'5" and 30 years old when I'm telling him that. It's a mindset. Like, man up, be a man. Go out there, do action, take accountability for it. Take action.
Are you okay with him crying?
No. Well, I am Yeah, because I cry, I get emotional with a lot of stuff. Like if it's something sad, like I'm gonna tell you a story after this Rudy story. Remind me about Rudy. But what I don't like is when he cries because he didn't do good and he didn't accomplish something as well, or he cries when he gets hurt, or he's crying because he thinks that he's hurt. Like that kind of stuff, you can grow out of that.
Yeah.
Now, do I understand like if someone passes away or you're watching this emotional movie? Yeah, 'cause I'm like that. I'm like that a lot of times. But like to cry for no reason, man, the fuck up.
Yeah, cry for attention, so to speak.
Yeah, man up.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times with kids, with babies, if we sat there and we cheered every time a baby fell down, when they fell down, they wouldn't cry. They cry because they sense us. Like, like, oh my God, what happened?
Yeah.
And they're like,
and then all of a sudden they look at you. Yeah.
You see their face. They look at you first, see how you're going to react, and then you see the tears come. If you're just like, yeah, they'll be like, you fall again. You know?
My youngest, we make fun of him. Like, he's the third child. Who gives a fuck what happens? Get up!
Yeah, he was the one.
What do you mean you got knocked out? I don't care. Wake the fuck up.
He wasn't supposed to happen. That's why you're like, whatever.
Nah, it's not that. It's just, after your first one, you
learn.
You coddle.
You're like, and I was never that guy. And my kids always told my wife, Dad just said cool when I showed him my bloody nose. I'm like, yeah, well, great. Hey, you're out playing. You got a bloody nose. Perfect. Go back out and play. Here's a napkin. There's no coddling.
So I don't mind when he cries.
Yeah.
It's when he cries for no reason.
Yeah, no, but I think that it's important that men learn that expressing emotion is important. Like if a friend passes away, like those are times when it's okay to let your guard down. And I know we do that a lot, especially just, with young men, with people that are in sports. It's like the don't be a pussy thing. And it's like, I'm with you 100% on the falling down. I'm with you on that stuff. But like in those emotional situations, like I cry more when I'm angry. Lenny has seen me. Lenny has made me cry, but not out of hurt, literally out of absolute frustration because I want to kill him sometimes. But no, I'm more likely to cry in those situations than an actual
Yeah, just for no reason.
That,
like,
you know what I'm saying?
Like, feel sorry for you.
Yeah, no, that's
that
not my
bothers-
thing. But if I'm angry, like I'll cry when I'm super angry
And your kids
and
need to
very
see you cry
sad.
sometimes. Like sometimes, like it was hard for me. Like I had to learn that because my dad he didn't want to cry in front of me and my brother. Like he would hold it in until the very last minute. And so that's how I am. Like I don't care what it is to the very last. I'll let them fill up a gallon in there. I'm like, please dry. You know what I'm saying? But it's good to see.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why you were sweating so much earlier.
Yeah.
You wanted to cry.
Can we stick to a story here, gentlemen, please? I mean, I was going to take the credit for that. I was going to take the credit for that. You said to remind you about the Rudy story.
Okay, yeah. So about that is that. So how I say I get emotional sometimes because a lot of people look at us like tough guys because the tattoos were big, we play football. But anyway, I was watching the Rudy movie one day, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching the guys. I don't know why I was all in my feelings about it, but I'm sitting there crying because the guys are like putting the jerseys on the coach's table, like, oh, we're not playing because for Rudy. So I call my brother and I'm like, he can hear me like sniffling. Bro, what's going on? What happened? I said, bro, Rudy. I swear the guy said, bro, man the fuck up, call me back when you stop crying. And I got the phone, I was like, damn, man, what the fuck? What am I doing right now? Like, my brother should have never seen that moment. I should have had with my son and my daughter.
But no,
but
you called your
twin. About man the fuck up,
yeah.
he said, he's like, bro, man the fuck up, call me back. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're crying at the movie? Like,
listen, it's emotional. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh, that's precious. I like that. And, okay, last thing. Is there a time in your life, aside from watching Rudy, where you had to man the fuck up? Like, one definitive moment where it was like, okay, like it's a make or break experience for me.
As far as like a sad moment or something like where I was like, you know what, if I don't make this.
Anything, yeah. Like, just a man the fuck up moment.
I think more of when our dad lost his leg. So our 2008, our dad had worked for this animal feed company for a long time, probably like 20 years. Anyway, they would bring these rail cart train carts and dump the feed off at the mill, and they would empty them out and get them down the end of the track so where they would pick these train or whatever back up so they can take them and fill them back up. Anyway, one day my mom used to always call us and be like joking on the phone. She's like, "Oh, this happened," and like faking stuff, crying wolf. And so she calls us this day. Me and my brother walking to class. She's like, "Man, your dad got in a train accident." I'm like, "Train accident?" Like in my mind, I'm like, "There's no way." Like, how the hell could he get in a train accident? Like, there ain't even no trains in Lakeland. Like, then I went to think. She's like, no. She called back. She's like, no, your dad lost his leg at work. He got ran over by a train. I'm like, I hung up on my mom again. My brother's like, what happened? I say, man, mom fucking around saying that dad lost his leg in a train accident. He like, man, why the hell she always doing this shit? So when she called back the third time, I was like, no way, are you serious? Man, when my dad laid there, we got there at that hospital, he was in the ICU for 3 days. Knocked out, wouldn't wake up or anything. So that in that moment in my life, I was like, you know what, man, me and my brother, we got man to fuck up. Our dad's never gonna be the same. And when he woke up, he wasn't. Different, like not as mean. I mean, changed his whole. I swear to God, it's like crazy to see. Like
happy to be alive.
When someone goes through one of those like traumatic experiences in their lives, man, they wake up a different person because they look at life different. So we would come back the year after that happened. And my sisters were like still living in the house, and they were talking to my dad like we never heard before. Like this was like talking back. And I asked my dad, like, Dad, what the hell? Like, you beat the shit out of us. That was us. He was like, well, now I learned that you could, raise kids different. I'm like, the hell you mean? Where'd you learn that? Like, your dad, you become a kid again and raise you different? Yeah. He's like, no, he's like, man, when I was there in that hospital and I laid there, he said, I just valued everything different. I valued my kids different. I valued what was important in life different. And me and my brother in that moment was like, bro, we got man to fuck up. We have to make it to the NFL because dad can't provide no more. And that changed the course of everything.
And look at you now.
Look at me now. Crazy, right?
It's a great story. Not that your dad lost his leg, but... Yeah.
But you wouldn't even tell. Like, even my teammates, I played with some guys for like 5 years, you know what I mean? And they see a story come out like, your dad, one leg? I'm like, yeah. He's like, man, because he doesn't carry himself like that. He's like one of those people that be like, I'm not handicapped. I'm just not. And that mindset he instilled in me and my brother, and that's made us successful.
I think that's a great note to end this podcast on. Nice job, sir. So we have Tropical Distilleries opening
May 15th.
Okay. You've got Twin Peas Whiskey.
Twin Pea Whiskey.
Cinco Cero. What is it? Because it's 305 is the tequila.
It's Tres Cero Cinco.
That's what it is. Okay, yep.
See, I know a little Spanish.
There you go. That was bad.
We got to being down in Wynwood now. Better know a little bit.
Facts, and then you have your mango liqueur,
We have the mango liqueur, we have the citrus, and then now we have the espresso. So we have all three of those liqueurs that'll be made down there. We'll have classes to teach you how to make the cocktails. It's going to be a big-time experience, and I'm glad it's down here. Give us something to do every day.
There you go. And then they can follow you on Instagram.
Yeah, at Mike Pouncey.
Slide in the DMs.
Yeah. Please
but
don't.
only if you're a high-value female.
Oh, yeah, you better have a job.
You better.
You better have a job.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to look you up. You ain't got no job, it's over for you.
If he can't find a tax return, if he can't find, it's over. Don't even try it.
I need your high school, everything you went to. I got to do some research.
Well, Mr. Pouncey, I appreciate you making the time. I hope you have a fantastic football practice and season with your son. Absolutely incredible chopping it up. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, and share the ManTFUp Podcast. We are absolutely everywhere. There's no excuses. Go ahead, Len. I know you want to.
Oh, did I want to say something?
How to choose the right audio apps for you.
Ooh, there you go.
If you want to email us, feel free. KimmyB at ManTFUpTV.com.
We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Thank you, guys.